my Bella Beauties. So the weather is changing, it's raining more, it's getting colder. Seasonal depression is upon us. So I want to introduce you guys to my new journal that was just published. I call it the Trauma Dump Journal. Okay. And I created this journal because I told you guys in multiple of my videos that I do not want you guys trauma dumping on people. Okay. I mean, sometimes it's very rare. Sometimes you will have people that you can trauma dump on that will, allow you to do that and not judge you and not spread your business and all of that. But that is very, very rare. Most of the times when you do trauma dump on people, they do judge you. Okay. They do perceive you differently afterwards. And they do treat you worse afterwards, right? Or your trauma is so intense and requires so much emotional labor that they don't want to be around you anymore. Like they distance themselves from you because that's a lot of emotional labor to put on somebody when you trauma dump, right? So it's very unfair for you to be trauma dumping on people all the time. And I did suggest you guys to go to, a therapist, which I still do suggest. I go to therapy every day, not every day, sorry, every week. Um, and it's really helped me. But even my therapist still suggests that I, write in a journal. And I do still get assignments from her to do at home. So I created this trauma dump journal for those who can't afford therapy, for you to really learn how to write and process your traumas. Okay. This is not to say, F therapy and don't get it. You still should get therapy. I still recommend therapy, but there is something about putting pen to paper and writing out your trauma that really helps you to process it. The first time that I wrote in a journal about my trauma, oh my gosh, like it felt like something had been relieved like from my body. It was so weird. It was so weird. So I created this trauma dump journal, and I love how I made the cover black because it's like dun dun dun. But I will, upload some pictures of the inside of the book. It's a total of 300 pages. So the first 26 pages is like instructions on how to write to process your trauma. And the rest of the book is for you to just dump away. Okay. And the last page of the book is the conclusion page. But let's just go through it a little bit. This is just a little guide through the book. So, like for example, on page 8, it does tell you how to set the stage for writing to process trauma. So you have to ground yourself, right? We talk about mindful breathing, checking in with yourself, right? Making sure there's no need for perfection, there's no pressure, okay? And also your physical space. When you're writing in a journal, any type of journal, I think you should be alone. Okay, your physical space should be alone and it should be comfortable. So if you have to make it cozy, go ahead and make it cozy. Make sure it's quiet. Make sure you're the only one there. Okay, because it makes you feel safe, right? Also, set an intention for each session. So, what are you writing about today? What are you trying to process today? What are you trying to get to the root of today? Okay. Also, if you need to bring tissues, I think you should because it will get deep. Okay. So, if you have tissues, have it sitting around getting ready for journaling. And I do recommend you set a time every day, like maybe 10 minutes 20, 30 minutes to journal, or some people just like to dive deep and just keep writing. That's fine. But I do suggest a time for newbies just so that you don't, burn yourself out. Okay. There's no time limit on healing. Okay. There's no rush. You will get there. So let me just show you some other things that's in this book. So the writing process for healing. So page 11. So there is some instructions on how to write to process trauma. So for example, the first one, free writing. So that this just means that just dump, just write whatever comes in your brain that you're trying to get off out of your brain, just dump it. Like there's no rules, there's nothing, just dump it in the journal, right? There's no structure. And then we will go on to acknowledge our difficult emotions. So as you write, you want to make sure you're tuning into your body. So do you feel hurt? Do you feel angry? Are you sad? Do you feel guilty? Do you feel shame? What do you feel? So you want to write in terms of like, I feel this, I feel angry because I am hurt by, I feel sad because I feel overwhelmed. It made me feel this way, right? So make sure you're tuning into your emotions. So there is a process for you to dig deeper and get to the roots of your trauma and your pain. And we will dig deeper into that on page 15. But basically, how you can get to the root cause of your trauma or your emotions is to start asking why. So just keep asking why with every question until you get to the root cause of it. Okay. So, for example, so there's some prompts here that we can talk about. So let's talk about asking why. So first, let's say, I don't know, I feel extremely anxious about giving this presentation tomorrow. And then the first why is, okay, why do you feel anxious about giving this presentation? And then you will answer whatever the answer is. So for example, because I'm afraid of making a mistake. Okay, then you do a second why. Okay, why are you afraid of making a mistake? Because I fear that others will judge me negatively. Okay. Third, why? Why do you fear negative judgment from other people? Because I worry that if they think I'm not competent, it will affect my career. Okay. The fourth, why? Why do you worry that others thinking that you're not competent will affect your career? Because I've been told in the past that my work wasn't good enough. Right. Fifth, why? Why were you told your work wasn't good enough? Because during my previous job, my manager frequently criticized my performance and compared me unfavorably to others, right? Sixth, why? Why did your manager frequently criticize your performance, right? And compare you unfavorably? Because my manager had high expectations and didn't provide constructive feedback. I also had a tendency to internalize your criticism and as a reflection of my own worth, right? And then we go to the seventh why. Why did you internalize your criticism as a reflection of your worth? Because I grew up in an environment where approval and success were highly valued, and I learned to associate my self worth with performance and approval from authority figures. Okay. Then we get to the root cause finally. So, why was approval and success highly valued in your upbringing? Because my parents often emphasize achievement is a measure of success and worth, and I was praised and criticized based on my accomplishments. This created a belief that my value is dependent on external validation and performance. So then we get to the summary of your findings. So every why that we asked got to a deeper version of your surface level emotion, right? So it wasn't just an anxiety about giving a presentation, right? It was about your internalized belief that of your self-worth, right? Because of everything that happened in your childhood. So asking why is the root cause of getting to your pain and your trauma and why you feel the way you feel. Okay. So that is a great example of a session in this trauma dump book. If you guys hear that flipping sound, that is me turning the book, turning the pages of the book. Okay, so let's go back to page 12 and 13 again. So there are some prompts that I did put in here to help you guys with your trauma. So some journaling prompts to uncover your hidden emotions. So for example, if you don't know what to write about, so you might want to think about, maybe you keep getting a flashback, this one specific flashback that keeps popping in your head. You might want to start with that. Maybe you keep getting intrusive thoughts. You might want to start with that. Or it's just something that's really heavy on your heart that is just really bothering you. So you might want to start with that. So, for example, like, what is one memory that still haunts me? Okay, how did it affect me, and how does it affect me now? What do I wish I could say to the person who hurt me? Okay, what do I need to forgive myself for? Okay, what emotions do I avoid expressing? Why do I avoid them? Stuff like that is just an example prompt that's in this workbook. And you want to also personify your emotions. Okay, when we are writing, we're not just writing to write, we're also tuning into our emotions. Okay, how is your body feeling? Okay, so for example, if you're writing and you get angry, you want to ask your anger, okay, what do you want me to know? Okay, what anger, what do you want me to know? Okay, why do you feel so strong right now? How can I help you? How can I relieve you? So, for example, let's say if you're writing a specific trauma, sometimes some people's get like a lump in your throat or like a burning sensation in your throat. Bringing attention to that area helps you to calm down and get back to your relaxed state. Or you can do the VU breath when it comes to your throat to come back to a relaxed state. Um, Maybe if your chest gets heavy, putting your hand on your chest helps a lot of people. If your jaw gets tight, massaging your jaw, and holding your ears and bringing them up also helps with releasing your jaw. So you need to tune into your body and your emotions while you're writing in this book. Okay. And after each session, you want to look back on what you wrote, and just see, are there any patterns? Like, so read what you wrote. Okay, so reflect on it. So are there any patterns emerging? Okay, are there any recurring emotions or themes that need further exploration? So maybe you can come back, tomorrow and write again. Um, get deeper. So you want to also assess how you feel after writing. Do you feel lighter? Do you feel more relieved? Are you more in tune with your emotions? Also, I also have a different type of writing style in here. So, for example, you can write letters to heal. So, for example, um, if you have something that you couldn't say to somebody, that you wish you could have at the time but you couldn't, there is such a thing as writing letters to people that you're never going to send, right? But it does help you to process the emotion and get that out of your system. It's a great for emotional release and for kind of concluding what you couldn't finish off at the time. So there is a way to write unsent letters to people. So there's an example in here that I am going to add to this video. You guys can check that out. So write letters, unsent letters to people that you want to say something to that you couldn't before. Okay. You also want to learn to write to your younger self. I've noticed that this really helps to forgive myself, and it also helps to curb my shame a little bit about certain things that I feel shame about. And just like loving on your old self and healing old wounds and taking care of your younger self, your inner child. So I'm gonna put a picture of that up here too in this video. Um, Also, there is instructions on how to navigate shame in this journal. So shame is very complex. There is a pages in here to help you navigate how to get over shame. So to explore shame, for example, we identify our shame triggers. So why do you feel so shameful about this thing? Okay, what is triggering your shame? Okay, then we're gonna explore it a little bit. So okay, it makes me feel this, then this. I've carried this into my adult life. I did this, I did that. And you want to challenge those beliefs about yourself. So instead of the belief that I am unworthy of success, you want to counteract that, right? It makes you feel inadequate and whatever. So you want to find positive aspects of whatever is causing your shame, right? And then you develop a plan to reframe that. So there, for example, there's a lot of shame in me not standing up for myself in my younger years. So I have to, do the why method, and then I want to start exploring the shame, navigating the shame method. Okay, so that's what I'm going to work on. And then page 27, it says get ready to dump. So then there is a bunch of, pages where you can dump your trauma, whatever you want to say in here. And then the very last page is the final reflection of the book. Okay, so after you've written in this book, hopefully by that time you would have processed a lot of trauma by then. Um, and yeah, so also while you do this, you want to make sure that you are doing somatics. Like I said, tune into your emotions. If your if you get a lump in your throat, bring attention to it. Do the food breath. If you get a lot of anger, you want to shake. Do a trauma release exercises to shake it out of your body. If your jaw is, if your jaw is tight or whatever, you want to bring attention to it and massage it. You want to do some facial exercises to heal that. Also, some trauma release exercises with shaking your head. You know how like dogs shake their head when they're stressed. Yeah, you want to get that trauma out of your body by shaking it, your face, like, like a dog. It helps to release that too. So you need to tune into your emotions while you're doing this workbook. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. So this book is available for sale on Amazon. Go ahead and search Balazi Entertainment or ENT on Amazon and search the Trauma Dump Journal on Amazon. And I hope you guys like it. I hope it really helps you guys. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.